Smells of rich mahogany. Hi, my name is Keith. Welcome to the channel. So today we have something really exciting that we're going to be talking about. It's this Martin D-15E. I'm going to be reviewing this for you. I've been really looking forward to making this video. So I'll talk about a few things I like, a few things I don't like, and right now I'm going to focus on the specs and what you're getting. So here we go. All right, so this is Martin's D-15E, not to be confused with Martin's D-15M. Its American counterpart that was made in Nazareth. Mahogany guitars, like I said, the M is the distinguishing factor. There is it's mahogany and it's made in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. The D-15E is also mahogany, but made in Martin's Mexican facility in Navajoa. So the idea here, I believe, and this is purely just what I believe, Martin has been trying to shift things a little further south of the border to kind of see and test out whether they could make solid wood guitars. And they started out with that factory a while ago now, started making strings, and then they moved on to their backpack style guitars. And I believe this is their first foray into a all solid wood guitar, and they did an amazing job. So while not at the same price point, it's a little more expensive than some of their X series guitars. This is a great guitar for anybody that wants to step up to the next level of guitar, or even for a professional quality guitar. This thing is right there with it. So let's talk about a few things that I like about it and a few things that I don't like about it. All right, so right off the bat, the guitar, let's talk about the specs. We have solid mahogany top, sapele back and sides, Cadillac fretboard, and the bridge is select hardwood, whatever that means, and the saddle and nut are made out of tusk, TUSQ, which that's part of the things that I don't like about the guitar. But let's focus on the stuff I do like, because what I do like is the playability. That's the most important thing, at least in my eyes. Now, I went to the guitar store to test out a D28. That one didn't speak to me at the time. It's an amazing guitar, but for that kind of price, I wanted to make sure that I was in love with it before I bought it. So I picked this one up, and right off the bat, it felt played nice to me. It gave me that aha moment. I have to have this guitar. It just sounded completely amazing to me. It felt right. So I took the plunge, I made it, and I'm glad because I wouldn't go back. The playability is perfect. It has a high performance profile neck on it. It's more of a neck profile that you would find. It's closer to my Telecaster than it is my other Dreadnaught guitars. So it's really easy to play, plucked at the factory, set up perfectly. The neck is nice and straight the way it should be. The frets are filed down perfectly. It plays like a dream. I was fed up with having to fight my guitars in order to get the sounds that I wanted further on up the guitar neck. That's just not an issue here. Now, the next thing I like, this is a subjective thing. It's the matte finish. Now, I wasn't really sure how I would feel about the matte finish guitar because all the other guitars that I have are high gloss guitars. The matte finish, I kind of feel like it makes the guitar a little more, I don't know what the best word to describe it. I have to baby it a little more than I feel like I do my other guitars. The best kind of example that I can give it is, whereas this feels like a little Mazda Miata that I want to baby, if I get in an accident, I'm in big trouble. Whereas a D28, that thing is more like a tank. I could take that thing into war and come back with nothing but a few scratches. So I find myself babying this a little more. And this is, again, this is all subjective. Do I like it? Yeah, I do like it quite a bit. The cool thing about the satin finish guitars is the more you play it, the more wear you get on it, and it turns into a high gloss finish just based off of where your hands are laying. So I could already feel some of that and see it right here on this part of the guitar, as well as up here and on the back of the neck. So again, if you're a fan of the high gloss, you might not like that. If you're a fan of matte, you'll love this thing. If you're like me and have never experienced anything like it, I would buy it again. The next one would probably be a high gloss one because the next one's going to be a D28. Now, as far as the sound goes, the thing sounds awesome. Compared to my other Dreadnought that I had, it's going to sound a little different. Now, that is totally inherent in the tone woods that we have here. You have mahogany versus your traditional spruce top guitars. So I believe the EQing there is more of a bump in the mids. So again, when it comes to that, it's purely subjective. We're going to show you a demo here in a little bit, how it sounds compared to my other Dreadnaught acoustic guitar that I have here, to kind of give you an idea of the difference that you're going to see. All right, so next up, we're going to be talking about the electronics in here. The thing sounds good. It comes with Martin's proprietary, quote unquote, proprietary electronic system called E1. It's very, very similar to the Fishman electronic system that comes installed in a lot of these, to the point where I kind of feel like they made a deal with Fishman, installed them in there, slapped the Martin logo on it, and said, hey, these are Martin made electronics that we put in here. Needless to say, they sound good. It has a tuner underneath or within the sound hole here. It has two knobs, one for volume, one for tone, and a phase switch in it. And the plug for the jack is right here, and as well as the battery. So it's an onboard preamp. It sounds great. So I played this thing out live a few times already. Every time I come off stage, somebody always comes up to me and says, hey man, that thing sounds pretty good up there. So take it as it is. That's exactly what you're getting here. If I was I'm glad I don't have to install a sound system inside this thing, because I would have paid an additional $200-300 to get a K&K Mini plus a preamp and all that stuff. I didn't want to bother with it. So if that's what you're looking for, you're in luck, because this thing comes with pretty decent electronics in it. Okay, so now let's talk about a few things that I don't like here. Now, these may or may not be make or break for you. For me, they're not break, but they're more of an unfortunate byproduct of Martin trying to come out with a cheaper, more budget friendly guitar. And the elephant in the room are these tuners. They are butterbean style tuners, plastic or rubber. Yeah, they're plastic. I don't know what they were thinking here, other than they wanted to save $50 and not get Grovers or some kind of cheap Waverleys. I'm not even asking for that. Give me some kind of chrome tuner on here that feels a little better. Now they do work. It's not ideal. I do feel like I have to wrench down a little extra to get some of the guitar in tune, but once it's in tune, it stays in tune. No issues there. Wish they would have spent a little more on that. But alas, here we are. We have the black tuners, which luckily the pins match. So there you go. Next up, as far as things I don't really like, I'm not a huge fan of the nut and the saddle. The nut and the saddle are both made out of plastic composite that they call Tusk, TUSQ. I think it's the same stuff that they make countertops with. So while not ideal, it gets the job done. The nut is the biggest kind of bugaboo in my eyes, because it's cut really, really sharply right here, to where if you're fingering chords up here doing some fingerstyle guitar, you're definitely gonna feel that kind of dig into your finger. Down the road, I would like to get that replaced, but for now, it works just fine. So we'll just leave it be for now. All right, so there you go. What I want to do next is I want to give you a quick demo of this guitar, and I know that it's impossible unless you have the guitar in your hand and you're hearing it. Even then, you're hearing it from behind the guitar, not in front of it. So I'll play a little bit here, and on my other Dreadnaught guitar that I have, I'll kind of do the same thing there, and then switch back again, finish up here, to kind of give you at a very minimum a comparison between what this guitar sounds like and compared to another spruce top guitar that I have here on hand. All right, so what we're going to do now is show you a brief demo side by side compared to my Sigma guitar that I have hanging up there. I do sound different. That's because I have a Ceremonic microphone plugged in directly into my iPhone, so we can get more of a room sound and not the lapel mic sound. I'll run through a few cowboy chords and do the same thing on the other guitar, come back to this one, and then run through a quick chord progression so you can kind of get a feeling of what it would sound like in context of the song. So let's have at it. So let's hop on to the Sigma guitar that I have hanging up on the wall and do the same thing. Okay, so this is a Sigma. I believe it was made in the 80s. It is a Korean made. How do I know that? Because the label said it was made in Korea. Other than that, it's a wonderful guitar. I think it's a spruce top. At least it's a spruce laminate top. If I take a mirror and look at the bottom of it, it looks like wood, but I think it's laminate. Nonetheless, it still sounds awesome. So we'll run through the same chord and see how it sounds. And so there you have it. It's the Martin D-15E. This thing retails at $12.99. Again, it's a great value if you could afford it for all solid wood mahogany guitar made in Mexico, in Navajoa. I love this thing. So if you thought that this video was helpful in any way, if you liked it, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends and everybody, and there will be more to come. So I appreciate you watching. You have a good day. Let's make all these awkward.